'Tis the season to be jolly. One on one. Deck the halls
Lots of podcasting.
with lots of podcasting, film news, what we watched, and debrief. That
Welcome back,
that
guys.
fit. Welcome back to the One-on-One Ratio Pod, hosted by Yoav, Akiva, and my best pal.
Meli Naz. Nazi.
Nice. Meli. And today we're going to be talking about,
Passages.
directed by Ira
Yeah, guys.
Sachs.
Um,
Sachs?
I don't.
Sachs?
I was having a hard time, man. I don't
He's
know.
German, right? Or is he Austrian?
German, I think.
So it'd probably be Sachs.
Sachs.
He's a New York-based American filmmaker. He's
Sachs.
American.
He's
Doesn't say
American.
anything about German,
I don't
but
know. Well, I hope you guys watched it.
mm,
Clearly, last week's episode did not perform well, so maybe we should stop doing things that are.
one-on-one ratio pod.
Yeah, we're gonna stop this whole thing altogether. We're done. That's it. It's
No,
over.
but we've decided to shift only to doing Marvel movies
Yeah.
because this is me and Maddie's only source of income. So,
We only make money from this if we talk about Marvel, so that's all we're gonna be
yeah.
talking about.
Yep. Because we love Marvel and everything's great. And you know what might help YouTube is if we use like keywords that will like send it out to every audience possible.
Iron Man, Fight Club,
Um,
Quentin
uh,
Tarantino.
American Psycho. No, that I don't want those people.
Well, that's what
I don't
they
want
push
those.
out there, I feel like.
Um, yeah,
Batman,
yeah. Batman, Robert Pattinson, Timothy
Timothy
Chalamet,
Chalamet.
uh, Jacob Elordi.
Oh yeah, let's get those girls out here. Let's get those people watching.
Saltburn, because that's the kind of podcast we are.
We're a burn.
We burn Saltburn, actually. But
Which
before ah, before we get into our feature prez about passages, should we talk a little bit about what happened in the film landscape this week?
abso-freaking-lutely. Yoav, would you like to
Sick.
begin with something?
Well, this wasn't actually this week, but last week. But we just didn't have time to cover all of it. We got some Criterion announcements, which me and Meli, big fan of Criterion,
Woo!
are really interested in checking out. And there were some relatively biggies, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a low-key announcement. It wasn't anything like, wow, it wasn't like a Pooh trilogy, train spotting, that kind of deal.
Well,
But
no, we
it
did get
definitely
one pretty big movie.
we did get one pretty big movie. And would you like to start?
Yeah,
Because right now cannot find the Criterion announcements on my computer.
the first movie that we got, and this is the only movie from this announcement that I've seen, but we got Gus Van Sant's To Die For,
Right,
starring
which is
Nicole
so cool.
Kidman.
Yes.
Um, I was shocked. I'm also trying to find it right now. Here we go. I found it. I was shocked when I
Me
saw her
too.
face pop up and I was like, "Oh shit, like
Nicole Kidman
that's
film?
that is crazy that we are getting this movie." I really like came out of left
What have
field.
what have you heard of this? What have you heard of this film? Because it's been in the back of my head for a long time since,
I've seen it.
you've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, do you like it?
I thought it oh God, I saw it like a while ago. I think like over a
Hmm.
year ago for sure. Um
Hmm.
I thought it was interesting, not my favorite. I don't want
Right.
to spoil anything for you because it gets pretty heated in the movie, but there are some interesting relationships going on, interesting dynamics. Nicole Kidman plays a great, I mean, I would consider her a psychopath in this, I think, but
Okay.
she played a great psycho woman. Joaquin Phoenix is
Interesting.
in it. It's really good. Well, I wouldn't say really good. It's good.
I see. I think I'll definitely check it out if it's like a nice like good like sometimes I just need like a nice watch, you know.
It's not a nice
What's it about?
um
Cause I really like Gus Van Sant movies. I think he's a great director. He's one of my, dare I say, favorite like kind of
oh.
style directors. I haven't
It's
seen all of his
well,
work, but I
basically
really like Elephant. I really like, you know.
okay, yeah, Elephant and the other one, Goodwill
Yeah.
Hunting,
And My Own Private Idaho, Avi.
Avi. Well, she is like a newscaster, whatever the fuck, and like she recruits these high schoolers to help her with something, and then like
Hmm.
there's a death, something about a death, and it's like weird, and she has like an inappropriate relationship with one of the high schoolers, and
Oh, okay.
it's definitely not
Well,
like, something you watch. You're like, it's not like a Goodwill Hunting where it's like, oh, this is so good, this
right,
is so cute. No,
right,
no, no. This is like, it makes you a little uncomfortable.
right. Um, the cover art that they made is kind of scary. Not gonna lie. Yeah, like mm,
It is scary.
intense. The next thing that they announced is All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, which is a documentary I've been trying to get to for so long. It wasn't an Oscar contender, but a lot of people wanted it to be. People thought
Mm-hmm.
it was the best doc of the year. And it's about a photographer who I actually has seen her work before and appreciate it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested on what this documentary is, and I actually knew this would be announced to Criterion one point or another because they made a deal with Neon, which also included Saint Omer, which is the next film that they announced, which is a courtroom drama, from what I understand, about a novelist who attends the trial of a woman accused of killing her 15-month-old daughter. Um, it sounds like a heavy watch. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. There,
What was the next thing? What was the next thing they
the
announced?
next one is The Runner.
Oh yeah, and I've actually also heard of this one. Have you?
I have not.
From 1984, this is an Iranian film. I really like Iranian cinema. I mean, I think I've put Meli on it as well, hopefully.
I
It's
have to
it's a
explore more, but I've definitely like my
yeah.
introduction to it. I really liked it.
Yeah. And it's about an orphan, a young orphan, and it follows his life, and it seems super cool, super like interesting movie. And I love it seems like one of those Iranian flicks that have a love for life within
Hmm.
them, which I appreciate. And then what was the last one?
This one is my favorite art.
Oh yeah, the cover art for this last one's
Oh,
amazing.
all that money can buy. Guys, this is so cool.
I
Look at
have
that.
no idea what this movie is, but this cover art has put me on it, which is
Mm-hmm.
just a testament to cover art and how it can really convince someone to watch a movie. And this is from 1941, so I believe is it a British movie or is it
Honestly,
American?
I'm not sure because I also have not heard of this movie.
It seems very interesting, and the main character pretty scary if that's how they
Mm-hmm.
portray him on the cover art. So looking forward to checking that out eventually. Speaking of scary, we've talked a lot about Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, and it was said that a few things about the movie this week that Robert Eggers engineered an entirely new filter to film Nosferatu for his camera, which is
He's
crazy.
he is one
Um
dedicated, committed man.
And he's an innovator, really. And so it's cool to hear that he worked with the cinematographer to make a new filter for this film. It really puts me on like, oh, is this gonna look like different? And it will. Because we did also got a first look at Willem Dafoe in Nosferatu, and he plays a crazy vampire hunter named Albin Ebhart von Franz, and I really liked that image of him. I think the movie will have a really interesting look at it. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I saw it, and I'm so excited for this movie. Like, ugh, I don't even know where to begin. Like,
Me too, me
favorite
too.
all of my like top actors are in it. Um, and Robert Eggers from the movies I've seen, like he does a great job at portraying the dark and really gritty side of, I don't want to say like not society, but
The dark and gritty, period.
just yeah, just the dark and gritty of life, I
Yeah.
guess. More life.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see his take on this movie. Like, I'm so
And
excited.
he's never won an Oscar.
Yeah, that's crazy. But we'll get him one day.
The Oscars don't like horror, but yeah,
The Oscars.
that's
Speaking of the
different.
Oscars,
Oh yeah.
we got the short list, guys. I was
Yes.
it, apparently my phone does not want to load because I have the short list here, but it's not loading. But I was at brunch with my friends, and all of a sudden I see a tweet that goes, "Oh my God, the Oscar shortlist is out!" And I was like, "Yay! Let's see like what they have." Some of these
Hmm.
are great. Um, some of them are a little interesting. I was very glad. Armenia, I believe, for the first time in history, was nominated for feature film, international feature film. Um, I
Or
am,
shortlisted, that is.
yeah, that's what I meant. Like, put on the
Mm.
short list, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that we can achieve the nomination.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm really excited. This has not happened before, obviously, so like we're all
Mm.
really happy about it. And like it was a huge deal when the movie came out. Everyone in the community went and saw it. Um, so I'm like really rooting for them. Then we
Yeah,
also
me
got
too.
like other ones, makeup and hairstyle. I'm a little upset that
You know what
Priscilla's
I
not on there.
notice is missing for international though?
What?
The movie we're talking about today. Cause,
Oh.
r- cause he won't nominate it because you Academy doesn't understand movies like this, I guess. Stupid. Stupid.
Um, I have a different opinion, but we'll get to that later.
I'm happy about the zone of
Zone of
interest,
interest.
perfect days. I
Yeah.
got to catch the teachers lounge in a pre-release screening
Mm.
at the film
Hmm.
festival I was at, and it was really good, so I'm rooting for that as well. Fallen Leaves is Anatomy
No.
of
No.
why not? That was like a big Oscar contender.
It might not be eligible for international feature film, is it?
Why though? Okay, well, it's definitely getting a Best Picture nomination, I
Oh,
think.
for sure. For
Oh
sure.
yeah, I'm also upset that where's
Oh, you
Priscilla
know
for
why?
makeup and hairstyling,
Sorry.
but Bo is Afraid got a short list, which is cool.
I'm um the zone of not the zone of it. The Anatomy of a Fall did not get a shortlist nomination because another French film got the spot instead.
Oh, they gave it to something else. What was it?
The Taste of Things.
Right.
So
I
that
haven't
means
even
that
heard of that.
France submitted a different movie as opposed to The Anatomy of a Fall.
That really throws the whole thing for a loop because people were predicting Anatomy to win. And I think that gives it to the zone of interest, but we'll see, I guess. I'm really happy with all these other nominations, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Lots of
Um,
Barbie. Lots of Barbie.
yeah, and I will say makeup and hairstyling were, I think, I don't understand. Personally, I don't think Oppenheimer should be on makeup and hairstyle, and I think instead we should put Priscilla Um, maybe even a Barbie in makeup and hairstyling would be cool because I will say the hair and everything was really cool in that movie.
A lot of people were saying um about Barbie that it has a best picture narrative, and I've even heard things saying that we're gonna have a Barbenheimer showdown at the Oscars this year, which is crazy to say. But the Oscar experts on YouTube were
Yeah.
talking about that, and a lot of people agree with them. They don't fully agree, but a lot of people agree with that statement, because Barbie is getting a lot of love, and Oscars have recently chosen things that are very, very popular in order to gain popularity. So if there's a Barbenheimer showdown, that would really boost their viewership.
I don't
Um,
know. I think as much as people like Barbie and like the movie, I don't know if they're going to choose it
I
for
wouldn't choose it. My bad.
I
It's
don't
probably
okay,
what
like
not even in my top like 10 of the year, maybe top 10, maybe down there,
well,
but I
I
don't
don't
think it's one of the best pictures of the year. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't to be honest, like it's not really like I don't really like I don't think about Barbie that much.
Me neither.
But
Me neither.
I do want to say I'm very glad we got Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Saltburn,
Mhm.
The Holdovers for original score. We got Dear Alien from Asteroid City nominated for original song.
Yes, yes, yes,
That was
yes.
awesome. We got The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar nominated for live action short film.
That
Uh,
was kind of a given,
yeah, but
right?
I'm like I'm happy about it.
Yeah,
Anytime Wes
me too,
Anderson
me too,
is acknowledged in the
me too.
Academy, it makes me happy because he often gets snubbed, in my
We
opinion.
got some other snubs though. Where is You Are Totally Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah?
Oh yeah,
Where's Murder Mystery 2?
yeah.
Where's Totally Killer?
Where's
I'm
where's
sorry.
where's
Mm.
where's that lizard movie?
Leo?
Leo. Where's
Yeah,
Leo?
where is Leo?
Where's
Um
Leo? I'm really sad about that, guys.
yeah,
We
so I'm not
and
upset
by the
about these
way,
shortlists.
you're not invited to my bar mitzvah. Where's that Adam Sandler? Where's the Adam
Bat
Sandler
mitzvah.
nom? Oh,
Bat
was it bought?
mitzvah.
My bad, my bad.
It's because it's his daughter, not his son. Anyways, what's the next thing you wrote?
The next thing I have is ah George. Oh, speaking of Adam Sandler, what a perfect segue. Adam
Oh, look at
Sandler
that.
and George Clooney said to star in Noah Baumbach's next film for Netflix, described as a coming-of-age film about adults.
Very Noah Baumbach.
Yeah,
Very Noah
which he did
Baumbach
get married this week. Congratulations.
synopsis. Oh, they got married?
Yeah,
Married? Congratulations to you guys. If you're
yes.
listening, hope you're
Greta,
happy now.
Greta, Noah, if you're listening, congratulations. You should
Yeah.
hire us and put us on
Um,
your next movie set.
I full-heartedly agree. I thought a really funny interview this week was with David Lynch, who was talking about his appearance in Fablemans. And he starts by saying that he's purposely tried to stay away from acting in the past to give Harrison Ford and George Clooney and those kind of actors a chance at their career, because he was really worried about them. Um and Steven Spielberg paid David Lynch to um be in the Fablemans with Cheetos. Um and yeah, with like a bunch of
What?
Cheetos because David Lynch wanted Cheetos. He says, "Well, Cheetos, number one, I love them," he said. "And any chance I can, I get them, but I know that they're not exactly health food. So when I do leave the house and I get a chance to, but I don't get them that often, honestly. If I do get them, I want a big bag because once you start, you need to have a lot before you could slow down and actually stop. Otherwise, with the small bag, then you'd be prowling for days to find more of its incredible flavor." That's a quote from
Wow.
Oscar-nominated director David Lynch.
Wow.
Just want to put that out there. He's a great, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy.
I freaking love that man. I love him.
I love that cameo as well.
It's a great cameo. Best cameo. Top
Yeah,
tier.
but yeah, he's crazy.
He's so silly.
He acts like he's on shrooms like all the time. Love it.
Which, speaking of shrooms,
Got to admit, I set you up for that one.
you really did. Bjork is narrating a new nature documentary about fungi. The Icelandic artist continues to explore the world of mushrooms following her 2022 album Phosphora by lending her voice to fungi, the web of life, directed by Gisela Kaufman and Joseph Nizetti. The documentary is about the ways that fungi have shaped life on Earth for over 1 billion years.
Sweet. I might be watching that just for her narration.
Yeah, we gotta love our little Icelandic pop
I love
star.
when music artists do nominate do narrations.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see that. It reminds me of when Joanna Newsom did Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent
Inherent
Vice,
Vice.
which is funny. It's just really fun to see Bjork in film,
Yeah.
especially with all of her background with Lars von Trier and all that. So pretty cool. Um, I don't have anything else, but did you write anything?
Oh, wait, we have one more thing.
Oh,
Dune Messiah has supposedly been greenlit with a 2027 release date in mind, given that Chalamet recently revealed in an interview that Jason Momoa will be returning in the next one. So, Dune trilogy? Question mark?
I think we've already established that there'll be a trilogy, but I think this like certifies it, you know?
Yeah. Yep,
I'm
yep.
happy to know it's officially a trilogy, and I think it will be up there with your Lord of the Rings, with your
For sure. For
Hunger
sure.
Game, like as a coming of age kind of fantasy sci
Well,
fantasy
maybe not Hunger Games. I feel like it's
landscape.
gonna be more on the level of like Star Wars.
Right. That no, Star Wars, it's not that
Like,
big.
no, 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 no. Not. I don't mean
No, 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 I know
the.
what you mean.
I mean
I
like
know what
the
you mean.
theme wise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will be cool. I'm really excited for the second film in the
Yeah.
trilogy and the third as well, because I know the second film will be great. Um, but what did you watch this week?
I watched Oh, I watched one thing and one thing only.
What?
Because it was finals and your girl had to study. But that doesn't mean I didn't have time to watch one almost 4 hour long movie. I watched Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Martin
Oh,
Scorsese. Um,
what'd you think, Meli?
guys, it was so good.
Listen, I had an interesting conversation with my film teacher about this a few days ago. And because
Mhm.
he hated the movie, and he was like, "This is because me and my friend watched it and then went to school and recommended it to him, and he was like, I was already on the fence, and he hated it, and he kind of got to me with some of his criticisms. I understand.
Can you voice?
Um, what?
Voice him.
I think his main point was that the movie just felt like useless to him. I mean, this whole like he felt it was like a gimmick of like not like instead of reviewing things slowly to you, it gives you everything in the beginning, which
Which is
I
true. That
think
is
is
true.
purposeful because Martin Scorsese is telling you this isn't enjoyment. This is I'm telling you this story. It's this like raw expression of untold stories and all that. But he got into the nitty-gritty of why he thinks this isn't nuanced filmmaking at all, and that he thinks Martin Scorsese has too much creative control, and that he is in general just an overhyped director in his opinion. But it was a long conversation, and he kind of got to me with some of his criticisms for Killers, which I kind of noticed that I associated with during the movie. It's just I'll have to rewatch it because I don't know. Yeah, because I was kind of blinded by the emotionality of it all.
Okay.
But how did you feel with this movie?
Well, I thought it was like the part about I understand unveiling things maybe too soon if you thought that, but I think it excuse me, it makes a lot of sense because we're it's the reason why it's unveiled so early on is to make it painful to the viewers because you're sitting there and you're actively watching them tear apart and destroy this community, mur- um spoiler alert, whatever, murder these people.
Not spoiler.
I mean, kill all of them, take their money, take their land, take advantage of them.
Yeah.
You are watching that happen, and I think that's why, like, he says that very early on. But
Mhm.
I think also maybe is your teacher like is he where is he from?
From here.
Okay. Maybe it's different for me because I live in America and like we actively
Yeah.
learn about like the displacement of Native Americans and
Yeah.
the countless times that they've been
He was
colonized and
very,
genocided and all
yeah.
that.
He was
So,
very adamant in telling, like, making it clear that he thought it was a story worth telling and that he hasn't heard about this tribe before and their struggles, so he was still happy that he learned. But
I
you
don't know.
know, I don't
Yeah.
he had some valid criticisms.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
have to
yeah.
rewatch. Um, but yeah, I'm so happy you watched it finally.
I'm very happy I watched it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yov, what's up?
Anyway, yeah. Um, I watched a few things. I watched two things in theater, three things in theaters. The first thing
Wow.
I watched was Punch Drunk Love, directed by previously mentioned Paul Thomas Anderson. For my
Nice.
first time watching it, have you seen this film?
No, but it is on my list. Again, Adam
Well,
Sandler always popping up.
I think it's a masterpiece, and maybe in my top five rom-coms of all time, maybe like really high up there, very high
Oh
up there.
shit, guys.
Um, I'm very picky about my rom-coms.
Hmm.
I either really like the shitty stuff or this kind of stuff, but nothing really in between. And Punch Drunk Love just hits every you'll love it. You'll love it. It's very insane. It's very mentally ill.
Yeah, so I've heard. So
It's
I've
great.
heard.
I watched an Iranian short film in class, which was called The Fish and I, which I kind of recommend. It's kind of one of those inspiring short films where it's like, oh, I can make so much out of nothing, you know?
Oh, okay.
Um, I watched Life of Brian in theaters, which was so whack. My experience going to the theater was really insane. I won't get into it right now, but I kind of got lost in the city. So that kind of overshadowed my experience with the film, but it was very fun and a very good crowd as usual with this theater. And I think this movie is perfect. I think it's amazing. And really funny. Then I watched Blade Runner 2049 for the first time. Have you seen this one?
Oh. No, I have. I haven't seen any Blade Runner, to be
Well, it's
honest.
good. It's a banger. It's as good as people say it is. It's very grand. The cinematography obviously is wowzers. And I think it might be my it's not my favorite out of the two because I really like the first one a lot, but this one's really grand and operatic and like really good. Like if you ever just need a movie to like carry you away, um I would definitely recommend watching Blade Runner 1 and 2
Okay.
because this is great.
All right.
Um then I watched Dream Scenario starring Nick Cage, which is mwah, mwah, mwah,
Yes.
mwah, mwah.
Ugh, I have to
That's
see
I think
that.
the next thing you got to go see in theaters, guys, is Dream Scenario.
Actually, the next thing I'm going to watch in theaters is Poor Things.
Oh, well, it hasn't released here yet, but I will be seeing that on January 25th, here. But yeah, good luck with that. We'll catch up with you next week with
Oh
that.
yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of five-star ratings for that. A lot of it.
Mm-hmm. This
Um,
girl I follow, I mentioned Low a few times to you.
yeah, yeah.
She gave it 4 stars,
Well,
which means it's probably a banger.
yeah. Um, Dream Scenario, really crazy good, fresh movie. It's probably my favorite of the year so far. Maybe a tie with Past Lives, but
That's
def
crazy.
Yeah, which is genuinely such a testament to how good this movie is and how entertaining and how crazy and how funny and how depressing and scary it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I watched Bradley Cooper's Maestro, which will be a giant Oscar contender this year. Did you start that one or watch that one at all?
No, I'm
It's
putting it
not, it's
off.
not, guys, it's not eye roll. I'm sorry.
No,
I
all
don't,
I've been seeing is bad freaking reviews of the movie,
right,
and
I
I
know,
do
but
not
y'all,
want Bradley Cooper to win anything.
film Twitter and like film Instagram have been going crazy like, oh, Bradley Cooper is like so pretentious, like
He
he
is.
work he is, but like
If he
at the
wins
end of
that
the
Oscar,
day,
if he wins that Oscar over Killian Murphy or literally anybody else, I'm going to actually shoot myself. Like,
I wouldn't give him the best actor win at all, but at the end of the day, he's really this up and coming director who's made two very solid movies
what
that
was his
are
first one again?
The Star is Born.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Okay. Okay,
and
whatever.
he really worked hard for the yeah, with all the pretentious air that comes with saying that you work 6 years to learn to conduct. he
Bitch.
really did he really did pour his heart and soul into this project,
I will have to watch and judge
and
myself,
the
sir.
direction is brilliant, and it's not what you think. It's not like it's just very, very long dialogues. That's what the movie is. It's very long dialogues and very long music performances. And it's basically about his marriage with his wife. Um, and it's not what you think until you watch it. It's not like your standard biopic whatsoever, and I think it has some kind of freshness to it. I think the editing is brilliant. The cinematography from Matthew Libatic is very nice to the eyes. Um, cinematographer the Whale, Requiem for a Dream, Mother, all those Darren Aronofsky flicks.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of his cinematography because sometimes a lot of the time it just feels too on the nose for me. It
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sometimes this movie just feels like visual storytelling for dummies, like, oh, this character is bigger on the screen, so let's think that he's.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
actually like I don't see like brilliance here, but I it is very nice to the eyes, and I think the acting here from Carey Mulligan is worth all the hype. Check
Okay.
this one out. I really don't don't eye roll it yet.
Okay,
Don't
I
eye
will
roll
watch
because
it.
you
I
might
will
like it.
judge. I will
Because you
watch
might like
myself.
it. Yep,
We'll
that's what I
see.
watched this week. Shall
Awesome, dude.
shall we take a passage to our next segment?
I think we
Eh,
shall take a little
I
jump
think
over
we
there.
shall. Sounds good. Well, we'll see you guys in the next segment when we discuss passages.
Yes, don't leave yet, okay? You still haven't heard the best part, all right?
Bye.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh, oh,
oh,
oh, oh, oh, oh, oh, oh, oh, oh.
guys, what the
Uh,
fuck?
uh, uh, uh,
Oh,
uh, the-
yeah. Oh, that was
um,
an accident. Oops. Guys, we're kind of a mess right now.
I'm back from being a two-headed green monster.
I hope you guys saw him when he was like that.
We'll keep it in the pod so you can see.
Yeah.
Um, so we're talking today about Passages, which has proved to be a kind of controversial film with ratings usually ranging from a low 3 stars, 2.5, to a 5 star. I haven't seen a lot of in between that for this film on
Mm-hmm.
Letterboxd at least. And I think there's a lot of ways to attack this film. I wrote my interpretations, my experience with it, and we'll discuss. Um, but first thing I just want to mention is love me a 92-minute runtime.
Oh, so
Love me a
so real.
breezy, love me a breezy 92 minutes. If a movie can keep it succinct, I'm really happy. I think this movie it makes very good use of it. my question to you is, did you like the film?
Um, yes.
Okay.
I didn't
That's an interesting reaction.
because I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it. So I guess I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on like two different things.
What about you? I'm assuming you really loved it.
I really loved it. I
Yeah,
really loved this
okay.
one. This movie, I really loved it.
Here's the thing, okay? Because we're just gonna jump right in. Like we're just
Okay.
going right in the deep
Okay.
end.
Yeah,
All
let's just
right.
do it. Let's just do it.
I love movies like this. Like
Hmm.
the only like the reason why it was harder for me to connect with this movie was because
The
I felt
protagonist.
okay, yes, the protagonist, but like
Okay.
I'm able to watch movies with very unlikable
Okay.
protagonists and like it. To me, there were so many blank time jumps almost. Not even
Right.
just time jumps, but it was like it was like blocks. Like we're in one block and it was
Mhm.
great. And then all of a sudden block one ends and we're at block two,
So
but there's
what
no
I'm hearing is that
bridge.
you love the scenes individually, but you didn't like the glue between them.
I guess. Yeah, it was like to me there was no bridge between those blocks. I'm just gonna call them blocks. Those blocks. And I don't know, because it's like, okay, one point it's like we're starting and it's fine and he's having sex with a woman even though he's married to a man.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden we're jumping to they're separated and they're moving
Yeah.
out and we got
Yeah.
no like no nothing of that. I don't know. Just
Well, I I'm this might be our most divisive film between us on one-on-one ratio,
think so.
but let's yeah, I think that's a good place to start. I actually could draw a lot of comparisons between this and Bradley Cooper's Maestro because both of them are about bisexual sluts and about and kind of this like
What?
very loose.
What?
Yeah.
Maestro?
Yeah.
Who, the wife or him?
Well, I guess you'll find out if you don't know a lot about Bernstein or his wife.
Oh, I guess they're both like that, aren't they?
Well, let's see. Well, you watch Maestro and form your own thing, but
All
I think
right.
there's a lot, and also that movie is very like jumping from, you know. This movie does it better in my opinion. Um, but okay, well, let's start with the opening scene, I
Look, actually,
guess.
before we get to the opening scene, I do
Okay,
want to say one quick thing. For the longest friggin' time, I'm gonna show you guys. I genuinely thought, like, since the movie was released, and I'm gonna take off my green screen for this so y'all can see,
okay,
I genuinely thought that Michael Mondo from this guy, I
right.
genuinely thought this guy from Better Call Saul
No, that's
was
not
the
him,
main
Melly.
character. Because look at him,
That's
look at him.
not him, Melly.
No, but they look so. Look at them.
Well, kinda. They look kind of similar.
They look the same.
Yeah,
One, two.
kinda.
I genuinely thought it was him until literally like last week, and I was like, that's not him.
That would be
anyways,
crazy if that was him, like in this
anyways, that
Bridge
that
Park
was just
movie.
that was
He
just a
gives more
little.
TikToker, but he gives more influencer looking guy. What
Well,
about
I don't
you?
know. He was just in Better Call Saul. You can ask Zev.
Well, Noah Centineo was in Dream Scenario, so
Really? Oh,
um
Noah
okay, so
scented mayo.
I really okay, well, I love this opening scene. I love the credits. I love how it's old fashioned. I love how it's kind of like the French New Wave
Mm-hmm.
title cards and they're like ooh, ooh, you know what I mean? Ooh, ooh, like the title ooh, and it's like orange. I think this is a wonderful way to open the film. The way he is so obnoxious with his actors and gets so pissed off reminded me of some things. And my experience with film in the past. And there's a very meta aspect to this all, like a giant like meta way to analyze this one. But we'll get to it. What do you think? What were you feeling during this opening scene?
Well, I was just like, damn, he is angry. He is mad. Um, it was really cool though. I really liked it. I
Okay.
was like, oh, this is very meta. This is so like,
Yeah.
ooh.
I didn't really hate Thomas at first. Like, I
Neither did
didn't.
I. Neither did
I. d-
I.
I. I saw those letterbox reviews that were like, horror. That's not Thomas. That's Martin.
I know I love Martin. I'm
um.
doing a little. I'm petting him.
Um. A lot of the letterbox reviews were like the worst person in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Horrible, horrible, stupid Thomas. And I hate him now, but my journey with Thomas was very interesting. But we'll get to it. I think it's good to like start with the performances and what your thoughts were on the performances. Um,
Oh,
starting
they
with
were so good.
yeah.
So good.
My standout personally was Ben
Oh,
Wishaw.
oh, 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 oh,
I
oh,
love
oh,
I
oh.
love him. I love him. He's amazing.
Guys, he's
Um
so good. He should be in more. He should be in more. Let's
He should
employ
be in
him
more.
more.
He has a monologue near the end of this film where he's like, I want to start my life again and I don't want you in it.
Yup, yup,
And
yup.
chills, 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 so satisfying. And the way he delivers that monologue is stunning. So good.
I
So impressive on every front.
I did not know he was actually gay.
He's actually gay?
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
which is always
He,
cool
he
to
makes
see
it pretty
real queer
convincing.
actors playing queer characters.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, Ben Wishaw, Adele
Um,
Exarchopoulos,
I've seen her somewhere else.
Yeah, blue is the warmest color,
Yep.
perhaps.
Yup.
Um, I, I know you don't like that movie.
Who likes that movie? You
No
only like
one.
that movie if you're a
If you're,
complete pervert. Oh my god, I
I
sounded
feel
like
like
my grandma.
a lot of men like that movie,
Yeah, we know why.
right?
We know why.
Um, I really loved Adele in this. I'm not saying her last name. Not that I know her personally. I'm just saying her first name. I really loved her in this. I thought she was wonderful. I thought she was magnetic. I think she's so beautiful.
Stunner.
Like she's really a stunner. But also her performances in here, she doesn't have a lot to do, but when she has something to do and it's like reactionary
It's
acting, it's really, really,
good.
really
It's
good
really good.
and really impressive. And then you have the central performance, which is on
Tomas.
part of Franz Rogowski, who also, in my opinion, is wonderful in this movie. I it took me a while to get used to his like kind of lispy, his
Mm-hmm.
kind of lisp that he has. It's kind of hard to like listen to. But I got used to it. It's whatever. Like that's just how he is, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, Go off, Franz Rogowski. Amazing, amazing performance here. I mean, all of his like manipulations make so much sense once you start like seeing him and his performance.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So one of the first things I wrote is that I was kind of having trouble understanding character motivations, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if
I
you I don't
totally
know if
agree
you
with
feel
that.
that. But the thing I don't think we agree on is that I, the way that characters are presented in this movie is why I think it's genius. Is why I think like this is really, 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 really great cinema. And I'll
Okay.
explain myself, I swear. It's not like that pretentious. I actually like really, really like how characters are introduced to us.
No, I don't disagree with that at all.
Okay.
I think for me, it's more of a story from a storytelling perspective,
Okay.
which is what's making me not like it as much. Not the
Okay.
characters.
So I
Like,
would there's a lot of European influences of this movie, definitely the French New Wave, like Avi. But I would
right.
also say it kind of reminded me of the Italian cinema,
Okay.
Federico Fellini, that kind of thing. How
Mm-hmm.
in Italian cinema, um, the Italians like doing this thing where they really make you empathize with the character only at the end. Like you usually don't understand. You watched the first half of 8.5. You watched 4.25, and I think it. I think it's definitely that's definitely an example of only getting to know a character fully by the end of the film and having to actually go back to understand motivations. And the way we'll get to it, but I really liked how the character the characters and motivations unfold to you as the audience. I think it's really genius stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um but let's talk about the style of this one. How are you feeling about these outfits, about these people, about this like production design? I mean,
Let's get into the outfits first. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
very hard, yes.
So it's so like it's so European, but
Right.
it's so like European chic. Like
It's very chic. It's very très chic.
this man was dressing to
He
kill.
was he Brandon Shaw was leaving no crumbs, just
Oh,
in everything.
he outfits upon outfits that were just he was serving looks constantly.
I mean, I disagree with some of his character choices, but his
His outfit choices.
his outfit choices.
I like
Whoa.
that. I like that, Martin. Thank you.
I mean, Adele is the character of a goth as well.
Oh
Just
yeah. Oh
amazing
yeah.
outfits. Something to aspire to, as was Tomas. As much as I hate like hyping Tomas up or Thomas,
Yeah.
um, his outfits were really cool. He had this sweater of a mouth that I would probably buy.
That was so cool.
Right?
Oh, obsessed.
Yeah. My mom was like, "Where
Obsessed.
did he get that outfit from the 80s?" Yeah, I watched this with my mom. It was actually pretty fun. Not gonna lie. Um, it we'll talk about it, but this movie's full of sex,
Yeah, lots
um,
of it.
which I didn't expect.
Yeah, did
Um,
I? Whew, really
woo,
throws you for a loop there, doesn't it?
really throws you for a loop, but it's okay. Me and my
I
mom are chill like that.
I do want to
Um,
say, production design. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
yeah, wow, wow, wow. The
But
colors, the everything.
super the home,
Hmm.
the um the apartments, everything was very much Tar-esque, but not her house, her apartment.
Okay, I kind of get why you're tarring this. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of get that.
Not all,
With
but
this,
not all of it. But it again,
right?
oh,
But
very European,
yeah,
very minimalist, but also
the thing I
maximalist at the
can
same
associate
time.
with Tar is also the writing here of like it's very distant, it can be very
Mm,
cold, it can be you
yes.
don't really understand when there's time jumps. Oh, it's like now Tar's in Thailand, like it's
Yes.
hard to figure out. And you kind of have to piece it together. And same with this film. Same with this film.
Yeah.
Um it can be very cold and distant. But to me it's learning about characters through the smallest of actions, which is what I like so much about this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talked about the opening scene, but just from the opening scene, how he treats the actors, how specifically he's telling, it's so telling of his character, and you feel like you know nothing about these characters, and you actually know everything. And you realize that later, which is what makes this, I think, so rewatchable. I
Yeah.
think the blocking of these scenes are amazing. I think these actors are actually master actors, like working with each other. Every single, I don't have any notes about the acting. I mean, the way they carry out the blocking that was given to them is amazing, and the blocking itself and the direction is so purposeful and so coordinated and so impressive, don't you think?
I totally agree. 100%. They
What was your next note? What was your first? Do you even say your first note?
well,
I can't remember, believe it
my
or not.
first note, just like right off the bat, was in quotes, I had sex with a woman, end quote, oh boy, dot dot dot.
Oh boy.
Like
I thought I thought this movie would make a bigger deal of him thinking that he was gay and then finding out that he's also into women still.
me too. I also thought that, but then I was
But
like,
I like that it didn't.
huh.
I like that it didn't personally.
What I found interesting was, I mean, the way that right off the bat, like, I thought he was going to lie to his husband, be like, "Oh yeah, I just fell asleep." Nope.
Mm-mm.
Right off the bat, literally, the second thing he says, "Yeah, I had sex with a woman." And the husband, his reaction is almost well, this happened again. Like it's not even like he was shocked. Like it's as if he pulls this type of behavior often. I mean, not to this degree, I feel like, because this whole
Right, right.
situation was like definitely
Awful.
way crazier than anything these two have
Mhm.
experienced together. But I think we can kind of tell that he has a habit and a pattern of pulling this
Yes.
type of behavior.
And that's just from seeing Ben Wishaw's face for a second, for that second
Yeah.
long it's like he reacts a little with his face and then his face goes fully blank and like he just like starts packing or some shit for his
Mm-hmm.
gym class or something.
Yeah.
And that's just from that sliver of a reaction we found that I think Ben Wishaw is such a revelation in this.
So good.
So what was your next thing?
Well, my next note, another piece of dialogue is when Tomas says, "You're my brother, Martin."
Oh, oh, that was awful. Me and my mom looked at each other. We were like, uh.
I was like I was like sitting there stunned. I was like, "He's your brother."
Yeah, that's
Brother?
crazy. That's
What?
crazy to say about your partner. That's crazy. And
And
I
then
feel
his
like
reaction was like, "Oh, don't."
he would never tell a goth that she's like a sister to him.
Mm-hmm.
No, he
Mm-mm.
wouldn't.
Never. Imagine
Um
she'd be like, "What the fuck?
so
Do you fuck your sister?" Okay, sorry.
Thomas Thomas is very interesting character and he's very narcissistic, he's very
Oh yeah.
self-centered, he's very awful. He's an
Yeah.
awful guy. His
Awful.
choices here. I think there is it I kind of associated with him in a lot of ways. His like love for filmmaking, his this feeling that he doesn't actually understand himself or why, in his case, why he's being so mean, but also this feeling of not understanding oneself
Mhm.
is something to associate with, especially when you're in an art field and everything feels so loose and your job doesn't actually feel like a job. You're just like
Mhm.
doing stuff and there's a lot of periods where you don't have anything going on, you don't have any movies, you don't have anything. So this kind of listless feeling is something I really connect with in Thomas's character. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. It's like, excuse me, oh my God. It's like he's kind of just like floating by.
Mhm.
Like he just doesn't really do much when he's not working.
Right. And I he is editing his film throughout this and he's also getting it into film festivals. I think
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the film, my assumption is that it entered the Venice Film Festival, his film, right? Cuz
Oh,
he
because he's
goes
going to
to
Venice. Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
gets all dressed up and everything. I think that his film got bad pre-screenings, and then there was a big time jump, and it
Yes.
had some kind of Venice Film Festival was my guess. But
Yeah.
let's talk a bit about a director that edits his own movies. My editing teacher always says that she doesn't like. She told me we were talking about. I think we were talking about
Oh, okay.
some
I know where you're going with this.
about
Keep going.
I forgot what his name is. Buffalo 66. What's his name?
Oh, Vincent Gallo or some
Vincent
shit.
Gallo. And how she doesn't like how when directors edit their own movies because they become too in love with their shots, and the shots become too long, and it's usually always unnecessary.
Yeah.
And because the directors love their own movies usually. They're always in love with their shots, especially if they have the narcissism that comes with wanting to edit their own film.
Yeah.
Um Now I know that Thomas's film was probably relatively low budget, but editing your own film is a big thing. So my editing teacher always says that it's awful when a director edits his own shit. He's too in love with his shots. Shots end up being really dragged out. And I think a big part of this meta aspect is that I feel like at least the first half of this movie feels as if it's directed by Thomas.
Mm.
Um, I
Okay.
think it's
Yeah.
very, I mean, the fact that he edits his own movie is very emblematic of his narcissism, and the shots in this film are very long, and there's almost like a meta aspect to it that I caught on to very fast. It kind of feels like a satire of like European art films full of narcissism and artistic qualities and poeticism and sex and complex characters that don't come with explanation. Um, I think it's very, very interesting how this is framed in a very meta way.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of this empty space in this movie can really is really accounted for um this kind of feeling that that Thomas is an extension of this director and writer's um negative sides of his personality. Do you know what I mean? And Irasaks didn't edit his own movie. I was sure he did, but he didn't. But still, this like narcissism, these long shots, this like focus on sex, I think it kind of feels like satire at some points, and it kind of feels like the narcissism of Thomas's character is getting to the director. Um,
Mm.
I love it. I love it.
This is some psychological stuff.
Yeah, I wrote more. Don't worry. What was your next note?
Okay, my next note. This is again what I picked up based off of like
I'm waiting for you to write a note that's like they're really raw dog in it.
I'll get there. Um this was this man again. Um when he was at dinner
Mhm.
with I believe Ahmad, and this I don't know, this could be a stretch, but it had to do with what they were saying and the looks they were giving each other, because I was like, there's no way this was a coincidence. Okay?
My mom, when she saw that Martin and that writer got together,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, obviously obvious. Like I guess I
Yeah,
didn't really catch on to it during the cinema.
obviously, I totally
I was
caught
kind of
on.
focused. I was kind of focused on Tomas, but
Okay.
yeah, I guess they had something
Because
up.
this part, like before Tomas even came and they were talking,
Mhm.
one of them said, no, I think Ahmad said, I'm hungry. Um, or they were like, I'm hungry, I'm starving, whatever,
Yeah, and
whatever.
then Ben Wishaw said something really sexual or something, right?
Well, I don't know what if he said something very sexual,
Or he
but
was like alluding.
yeah, and
What did he say?
the looks, I don't remember.
He
But
said like we're all eating tonight.
oh,
Or
some
something.
okay. Something like that. But they were like looking at each other in this way and saying like I'm hungry, I'm starving. And I was like this is 100%. I don't know if allegory is the right word. It's allegory is not the right word, but I'm just
Right,
going to use
right.
it. Like it was totally a way of like him trying to get the point across of like
That
he's
he likes
hungry.
him.
He not even just that he likes him, but I think it's just like wanting
Sexual.
more from relationships. And
Ah.
like you and I could totally tell this is all from his fucking face, guys. This guy is
Mhm.
so good at acting. This is all from
Yep.
his face. That like he's hungry and longing for more in intimacy, not relationship maybe, but like
Yeah.
just the intimacy aspect of relationships, and it all was being said within the eyes and the looks, and I could tell. And he is basically like trying to convey the fact that not only does he like Ahmad and like wants him, but
Mhm.
Also the fact that he's like longing for more and he wants more because
Yeah.
obviously Tomas is not satisfying him, and with all the shit that Tomas is pulling with Agath, like he is fed up
Yeah.
and he wants to, I guess, have adventures of his own or whatever. But
I think there's a kind of, not only, obviously a very loose, like, bisexual energy to this movie, very like,
I'm
mm,
not this guy.
not this guy, but with Thomas and
Yeah.
all that. I think there's some, like, a polygamous aspect to this as well.
Yeah.
And I think there's a moment in the film where they try to have some kind of polygamous situation work out
Yes.
when
Yes.
Agath and Martin are both in the same home, and they all went to their vacation home with their friend, and there's that piano scene,
Yes.
and then the third sex scene in the film, which I'll get to later. But they try to work out some kind of polygamous situation and solution to this, but obviously it doesn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But go back. Agath has a very. I wrote that she has a very soothing singing and speaking voice.
Yes,
It's like very
yes.
deep. It's. I would want to hear a podcast or like some kind of ASMR. Um, Thomas has a snakeskin sweater, which I really liked. Um, I don't I started to, like, really catch on to Thomas's, like, assholery. I wrote, I don't like how he tells Agath he loves her, divorces his husband, and then throws all his shit at Agath and tells her that he's moving in with her.
Yeah.
And then he feels bad for divorcing his husband.
Yeah.
Everything feels like he thinks the world revolves around him. It's literally narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah.
I think yeah, and it's interesting because like, I just like wrote like little notes like, okay, so now they're both like cheating, I don't know, whatever. But he's definitely like a seductress, and by him I mean Tomas. Like he is flirting with everyone. He's batting his eyelashes at everyone. Like again, at dinner when he joined Martin and Ahmad and the other guy, the way he was looking at Ahmad and when they were talking was very like he was giving him like the eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I totally picked up on that and I was
His
like,
his performance is so good.
yeah.
He's such a slut. Like, that character is such a
Oh
slut.
yeah. And
Um,
it's crazy. And then he's like upset because he found Ahmad with Martin and then
mhm.
he's upset at them. And then I'm like, that is so selfish of you.
Yeah, but Thomas also uses sex for leverage in every way,
Yeah.
and his reaction to sex, and, like, sex doesn't mean a lot to him, but it means a lot to us as the viewers, and I'll get to that. And this movie's use of sex is very, very interesting. Um, lot of nudity is, like, there's really no punches held.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, there's no female nudity,
Yeah,
um, which is
which is good.
very rare to see more male nudity. But this is a gay man directing a movie about gay people, so
Makes sense.
I guess yeah. Um, I'm happy he's not sexualizing lesbians, but at
Yeah.
least he's with his own kind.
Yeah.
I love seeing these characters live their day-to-day lives and jobs feels strangely slice of lifey, and it mixes well with the more intense, like, sexual love triangle-y stuff, as you can see. And I think there's so much meaning to the editing of this. And we'll get to it. I'm about to get to it. But
Get
yeah,
to it.
what's your next?
No, no, I
Should
want
I
I
get
want you
to it?
yeah, yeah, do it.
Okay. Well, I think that after I have this film, my theory over this film is that there's three central sex scenes.
Mhm.
And they shape what we think of the character, and they also shape how the film treats these characters. I think after the second sex scene,
The one
there's
between
a
Martin
moment
and Tomas.
Martin and Tomas, not, or no, that would be the third sex scene. Again between Martin and Tomas, but then we get a pan up to um and then a cut up to a goth.
I got yes,
And
yes, yes. Okay.
from that moment is when I think the film focuses more on Martin and a goth and starts
Mhm.
actually hating. And I think the editor the editing and the direction actually starts hating Tomas as much as we do.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes, yes.
it's kind of this conversation that Ira Sachs is having with the more narcissistic, pretentious director aspects of himself, which I just think
Mm-hmm.
is so absolutely fascinating and satisfying. I think where was I even getting to? What were we talking about?
The three sections.
Yeah, yeah. And so then we start focusing more on Thomas and Martine. And what happens in the last segment of this film, we get two scenes where first we see Martin in his normal day-to-day lives, and then Thomas comes in and interrupts him
Yes.
at his workplace. And Thomas does the same thing to Agatha later in the film. I think any other
Mm-mm.
movie would follow its quote unquote protagonist, which is Thomas, into this person's workplace and then having this person's reaction, you know? It would be like Thomas walks in and we go through the door with the camera. It's like a one shot, and then we see the people reacting. But what Urasax does is he first gives us solid like minute of them working and just talking to their coworkers about mundane things, and then Thomas comes in and interrupts. This shows the director's focus on these characters and how he really hates Tomas as much as we do. He doesn't want to follow him either, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to follow him through the door because he actually cares about how he's ruining and destroying these lives and how this narcissistic personality affects everyone around him. Um, and I think just the way that he shows these mundane things and then Thomas interrupts instead of following Thomas is very interesting and like emblematic of how his opinion on Thomas changes throughout the film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His
That's
being
so good.
Urasax.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's there's a lot here. I have more. But what's your next note?
Um, mm. So the second major sex scene between Martin and Tomas.
Yeah.
It's almost that was crazy, first of all. That was crazy. Like I was like I was I was like, wow, I'm really watching this right now.
Right.
Yeah. Um, crazy. I don't know how you watched that with your
I
mother.
mean, well, yeah. Well, I didn't know it would be that bad.
Did you skip it?
No.
Did you actually watch it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd be
I
so
well,
embarrassed.
it's
I'd be like,
embarrassing, but we're both like the fuck. Like we were just talking about. Oh, my mom actually like was telling me her theory during this scene, and I'll explain it to you.
okay.
It's me and my mom like we watch True Detective together. Like we're fine. You know what I mean?
Okay,
We've
but
seen worse
this
stuff.
is graphic like
It's
sex.
graphic. It's graphic. Yeah. I didn't know it would be this bad.
Like he was
But
pounded.
right, right. Um
I shouldn't
I
say that
think
on here.
no, he was pounding, he was railing. It was intense. It was intense. Um the sexual like curiosity of that scene is crazy and you just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like get to the choreography here is oh my like I don't even know how they filmed that.
Right? That was what I was wondering. The whole time this was going on, I was like, how the fuck did they film this? Like, whoever choreographed that scene, like,
Whoa.
props to you because
Very impressive.
wow.
I mean, the
Wow.
scene I thought the worst was the scene with the goth when I was
Yeah.
watching the first sex scene. I was like, this is probably the worst it gets. Like, this is why this was, and then it gets it like that was relatively tame, you know.
Yeah. The first one was tame,
But
and then you get to this, and you're like,
listen, ma'am, listen, ma'am. I think there's been so much more like graphic straight sex scenes I've seen in cinema.
yeah.
Like it doesn't really get more graphic than this, I'll say
Well,
that. But like I've seen so much straight sex in cinema that's just like
yeah.
that graphic,
I
you
would say
know?
Crash is that graphic.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
no, no. For sure is that graphic. For
yeah.
sure.
Well, I'm just thinking like why do we really care? Like, it's not pornographic, right? It's not actual.
No, I
It's not
think
Lars von Trier porn actors working together. It's trying to put a point across here. I think there's an element to this film that's a little bit boundary pushing, to a certain degree. It also received this NC-17 rating that movie fought against and had removed, um because NC-17 ratings ruin films
mhm,
and ruin the film's publicity, ruin the only way to really get famous on get very popular on an NC-17 movie rating is to like go into the marketing and being like the movie NC-17 and
yeah.
like using that as a marketing. But they didn't want that because this is an art film, you know. I've seen R-rated movies that are this graphic and it's like why is this getting an NC-17 rating?
And
I
it's
just hate that
because
NC-17 like bullshit. Sorry.
no, I agree with you. I think it's definitely like I think the reason why I was like, "Whoa," because not because it's two men, it's just anytime there's like anytime there is graphic sex on scene, I'm like, "Okay, whoa." Like I always get like a little bit of like a jump
Right.
scare, I guess. Doesn't matter if it's between
Jump scare.
men and men, women, women, straight
Yeah.
couples, whatever, like it but I don't agree with the fact that this should be NC-17.
I just think the NC-17 rating is useless.
Yeah.
It's
Because
literally
again, it's
has
like
famously just been a way to be homophobic.
yeah.
That's really it.
And then again, this is not using sex to be gross. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it is using
This
it as a
is
tool of storytelling. Like you
yeah.
can tell.
Um what rating does Mike Lays Naked have?
I think NC.
I don't know. I just don't like this. I don't like this whole thing. How bro, that stupid. I think it's stupid. But here's my me and my mom were talking. And she said that there's thematic and character importance to Martin being on top during sex with Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, Martin was kind of taking advantage of Thomas's narcissism and kind of turning the tables by being on top in this situation. And he actually
Mm.
hurts Thomas in this sex scene. He hurts him. Thomas says ow. And then Martin goes, "It's were you paying attention or were you mostly just like
No, keep going. I think I remember this. Was it when he choked him?
Thomas is like ow. No, I think he just went a little too hard and I think that Martin
Oh.
finished in Thomas and that hurt him. Um in a way, Martin was taking advantage of Thomas's narcissism and kind of turning the table. But this doesn't go well for Martin at all because what really happened is Thomas' self-centeredness and manipulations were what drove him to have sex with Martin, and to
Yeah.
perhaps let Martin take control was just a way, another part of his manipulations to sweeten the deal and tell him that Agatha is pregnant and to make him feel better about himself and that he's the person on top in this and that to make him feel like he's the person on top in this relationship, but really not. The destructive person here is Thomas.
Now let me just say
That was my
that
mom's theory.
that
Genius.
your mom is that was fucking great. Let me just say having sex like that and then telling him that a goth is pregnant is the most evil, cynical thing you can do.
Oh my god, literally that was so awful to like this movie is
Like,
hard to watch.
I was like, wow,
Uh,
wow,
my
you
mouth was
just did that.
wide open when he said that.
And then the next scene, he goes, oh, she's pregnant. Yeah. Do you want to have kids? And he would,
I feel so bad for Agatha and Martin. Like
mm-hmm,
I feel so awful for them. Um, but just finishing up the sex scene, I think it's very interesting. The camera pans down and literally like they had the choice to just show their backs, but they didn't. Like they
mm-hmm.
panned down and show, which is kind of this kind of thing of like seeing there's a kind of boundary pushing element to this. Um, another example of the director being in love with his shots, and it almost feels like Thomas directed this scene. I mean, the focus on the sexual
Mm.
acts and like, but I think there's also again that relevance of Martin finishing and Thomas, this kind of like back and forth of power dynamics in the relationship. Um, I think it's very valuable. I know some people would say that it's unnecessary.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if you agree with me. I feel that that scene one is a little boundary pushing in its own respect, and I appreciate it for that. And two, um, I think it's meaningful. I don't see it as a scene that's like sexualizing anyone, objectifying anyone, or
I
just
agree.
trying to shock you with the sex. I think there's the value to this.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think this is a great example of like, yeah, like it's pretty jarring because you wouldn't expect it,
Mhm.
but it's definitely an example of sex being utilized in a movie for the pushing forward of the plot. This was not like this is not
Yeah.
like my favorite example to use is the blue is the warmest color or whatever. In that movie, it
Okay.
is so obvious that the sex was just for the director to be a disgusting pervert, and it didn't it
Right.
it was I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to think about that stupid fucking movie. But in this case, you
I don't
can
want to
tell,
watch it.
yeah, don't. Please don't. I can't believe it's on Criterion. Why? Whatever.
This one should be on. They should release this
They
one.
probably will eventually. But
That would be
you can
banger
totally
packaging. And
tell.
they should do a digipack. They should do a one of those paper packages, and then you pull it out, and it's like Thomas's face, and then you pull it out, and then it's Martin, and then you know,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm talking
I see the vision.
about. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just want to say that, like, yeah, the sex in this scene is like it's necessary for the plot. Like, yeah, 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 yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's also this way of telling more about the characters through sex, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
sex is seeing, how someone has sex tells so much about their character.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that tells the most about, I think, someone. Um, Me and my mom were talking about how there's a lot of films where this like conservative suburban area, kind of like similar to Blue Velvet, and then this like someone that's relatively sheltered or whatever could be in bed like completely wild,
Mm,
right? And it tells
yeah.
about their character and this longing for something darker or this
So true.
longing. It sex tells so much about a character, and I think that I actually learned the most in this movie about these characters through the sex scenes, especially because the way that Agath lets Thomas go down on her in the beginning. Agath is more of a character of like traditional values. Like she wants to start a not traditional values, but she
Yeah.
wants to start a family. She's good with Thomas like going down on her. She's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the also that first sex scene is like it's very sensual. It's very romantic.
But she also
It's
doesn't.
very intense.
She also is a little problematic though because she is aware that he's
Hmm.
married and she
Yeah.
pursues him and she continues to do so.
Yeah. That's what makes her character so complex and
Yeah.
interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, and then that dinner scene with her parents. I wrote what chutzpah, walking off away from Agath's parents, attacking them for their concerns and the obvious issues with the fact that Agath was impregnated in an extramarital affair. Thomas's behavior is disgusting. I mean, they're kind of awful, but Thomas is disgusting.
Just he's just fucking vile, man. Um my I actually only have two more notes left and then I did a recap thing today. So
Let's
be
go.
happy. I have two
Uh,
more notes. I don't know how many you have left.
a lot, but they're fast. Don't
Okay.
worry about it.
I will say this is definitely going to be our longest episode.
Really?
Yeah, we're at the
That's
120
so weird. I
mark.
thought it would be short.
Nah.
That's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um It's just, well, the first thing I said was that he's just, again, what we've been saying, he's just such an egotistical prick. Um, and it's honestly like fucked up that like at one point we talked about this earlier, like he like was trying to make this kind of like a throuple poly relationship, which
Yeah.
is so like, and you can tell just by their energy and the way they interact with each other, that
Mhm.
he did not talk to them about this. He did
No.
not fully sit down and be like, okay, so I'm in love with both of you, whatever. Can we make this work somehow? No, no. You can tell that he kind of was forcing this and barely
Yeah.
talked to them.
And not
Um,
communicating with a goth or anyone, and then
nope,
they don't communicate at all. Even
nope.
even considering goth's abortion and all that, there's
Which
that part after their vacation house.
which is my next point.
Mhm.
The abortion and not telling Martin and manipulating him and getting him back on Tomas, using Martin's like want of a child to get him back with him, and then
Mhm.
not telling Martin that a goth had an abortion, and then trying to still keep him in the relationship, and then whenever he goes to have fucking lunch with her and he gives her that cute ass
Oh,
sweater,
that's such a
and
good scene.
the heartbreak, the
Yeah.
fucking heartbreak.
Mhm.
That was truly the straw that broke the camel's back, obviously. Like, from that
Yeah.
point forward, he knew, like, I cannot be with this man
And
anymore.
the way they drop him is so satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I love how she leaves him crying at the end
Yes.
before
Oh,
the end. And I love how his monologue. I mentioned it earlier,
yeah.
but I don't want you in my life was so perfect. My hate for Thomas grew. How can he? Yeah, basically wrote what you wrote. The way Thomas sends Martin to speak to a goth about how she's not communicating with him. Martin's monologue is perfect. Um, yeah, and then they both drop him, and then the end happens, which I think is the, a perfect ending in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. I love this shot of him on the bike. I could watch that for hours. I mean, his performance. I mean, the way Thomas is tearing up. I mean, how it ends with the freeze frame
Yeah.
and the music
The
and the
music.
music is so like disordinate and intense and like it's very French New Wavy. I mean, this like
It's very reflective of his mental state at the moment.
yeah, yeah. That was my last note. I don't have that much. I love that ending. Loved it.
Should we do our little recap
Yeah,
thingy?
you go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear.
Mine's short. Mine, I didn't write, like, mine's not
Yeah,
super
me too.
long.
Mine too. Mine too.
Okay, here we go. This is my first one, guys. This is so exciting.
Ah.
Okay. I said, a tale of a selfish man who seems lost in his own vision of life. He's constantly striving for the perfect balance or image of his relationships, yet slowly he loses the grasp of control, therefore betraying the ones he loves. Tomas wanted too much and as a result ended up with nothing in the end. There's only so many second chances one can be granted before there's nothing else to give. Ben with Shaw, I love you.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I
Yay.
mean, that's a great analysis of this film, and it's
I
I
wanted
think
to
there's
keep it short and
also
sweet.
I think there's also messages here of, in being in the art field, trying to stay away from this narcissism and this pretentiousness is very hard, especially in film.
Yeah.
So that's one message, and as well, not to let narcissistic people and knowing how to recognize through sex and through their small actions, especially through the way he treats his actors, through the way he walks on the street, through the
Yeah.
small things he says, and the way he manipulates, knowing and recognizing things through their small, understanding characters and understanding the people around you more through their small actions and knowing when things are gonna go awry. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
fascinating exercise in character dynamics explored through sexuality and the lens of a stupid fucking bitchy cocky slut. Passages proves itself to be one of the strongest films of the year. I mean, there's so much to unpack in terms of the more meta aspects of this movie, but I mostly want to talk about how sex is used here as a framing device. There are three major sex scenes in the film. Um, it is it is though the, it is through them that we learn the most about these characters. How someone fucks truly does say a lot about them, and I can't think of a better cinematic example of that from the last few years than this film. You, as a viewer, must learn about these characters not in a conventional or conversational way, but through the more impressionistic sensual acts and the most subtle blocking and movements. I hate Tomas, and I think Ira Sachs does too, which is what makes this such a fascinating work. Everything about the ending and the completion of these character arcs and the inevitable death of this destructive love triangle crutching on this destructive man is so satisfying. Really recommend this. It really feels very European influence, new wave. And it made me feel that cinema is alive even more than any other film released this year.
Wow.
That's my summary. Um, this did prove. I mean, you didn't really tell. What else did you not like about this movie? What? I mean, we can go to ratings, I guess.
Yeah. Um,
Like,
I think I'm gonna keep my rating of what I originally had it at. Um, and I'm going to go with a 3.5.
okay.
Um, and I think it's purely just based off the storytelling, not the storytelling.
Mhm.
I don't want to say the pacing because the pacing was fine. Just to what I was saying in the beginning, the blockiness of it
Okay.
and the structure, the way it was structured, I guess. I didn't really
It's.
vibe with it.
I think you know it's purposeful, but it's okay that you didn't vibe with it. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, it's subjective.
I do know it's purposeful, but I think the thing is that you in Tara there are cuts, but it's so to me those cuts and that blockiness makes so much sense and it works well in the story because we had so much buildup and time to really marinate in her mind. This
Mhm.
movie, yes, but no. We weren't marinating as much and we kind of were thrown in, and to me it just didn't work as well as I wanted it to.
Well, if you look at this poster, also it's so
I
obvious that
can't
they're aware of.
see.
Oh god damn. That they're aware of like the blockiness of this. I mean, look at this. Like they're kind of
Oh
cutting
yeah,
to
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like interest. It's very purposeful. Um, and I think you know that. And I think I just subjectively love this and objectively as well. I just really fucked with it. I
Yeah.
mean, I really like these smaller movies that don't give you answers. That's just something I'm a sucker for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, as much as I hate agreeing with Carson Runquist and disagreeing with you,
It's okay.
um,
It's okay.
I did find nothing wrong about this,
You
and
give it 5 stars?
it is a 5 star for me. It is.
Wow.
I really did find nothing
Wow.
wrong with this. I think it's one of the strongest movies of the year. I think I mean, I'm sorry, I agree with Carson on this.
It's okay,
I
man.
think
No hard
I agree
feelings.
with him. I really connected with this. And just I would like to rewatch it very soon. And I think it's
Wow.
great. Um but I we agree on most. At least we agree on like most things. Like we have the same kind of it's just a
By the
matter
way,
of what
again,
you're
I always have
looking
to
for,
say
I guess.
this. To me, a 3.5 is not bad.
No, right. I know.
A 3 is like good. A 3.5 is like above average. Like
Yeah,
it's not a bad movie by any means. And by my
right.
analysis today and everything Yoav and I talked about, you should not take away the fact that I think this is a bad movie because I don't think it's a bad
Yeah.
movie. I just personally, there are things in other movies I like better, and I think there are movies that have done similar things better. That's all.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, should we get to your pick?
Oh my God, I'm so excited, Yoav. I am
Okay, I'm taking off my
so
background. I'm
excited,
taking off my background. I'm incredibly excited as well.
Yoav.
Thank you for watching Passages, Meli.
You're welcome, and thank you for telling me to watch it.
No problem.
Okay, we're gonna get right into this. I'm copying you, and I'm also doing a movie that came out this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to rip the Band-Aid off, the movie of the week for next week is the 2023 movie directed by Alexander Payne, The Holdovers.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so fast. Yeah.
Yay!
Sorry. I was expecting more of a build up, so now it's like, oh, this
No,
is amazing then.
I ripped the
Because it's
Band-Aid off.
Christmas. It's because it's Christmas.
Well, partially yes, but also because I have been dying to watch this movie. Like, I for a month, I have been wanting to watch this movie so bad. This movie
Well
has
then great.
everything that I like, everything that I love, school, academic shit, Dead Poet Society fucking vibes,
70s vibes.
70s. That's literally like everything I love. I'm so excited. I tried watching the movie the other day and it was not loading, so I could not watch it. But
Oh man.
um we're doing it this week. I know it's not like out. I don't think it's like out, but I think we
It's on
should be
iTunes
fine.
for rent.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. And it's also in
Yeah.
cinemas, I think, over here at least.
Okay, for us, I don't think anymore.
Oh, well.
But it's perfect, and I'm gonna
A
probably
perfect
watch it with,
choice.
well,
Your family.
I don't know,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Kind of a family kind of flick or no?
Yeah, but
I'm very
I've been
excited to
seeing
watch this. I
so much of it on Twitter, and I'm
yeah.
like, I'm done. I'm done. I've been seeing
Yeah.
so many clips on
Also for
Twitter.
the Oscars, because it
Yeah,
also has some Oscar buzz.
I really hope.
Amazing, amazing pick. Thank you for choosing something lighter after this
Oh yeah, you're welcome. I think this is
heavy,
literally.
heavy melodrama
I want to say that this is like my first like fun movie.
that you picked.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Well,
no,
Blue
I picked
Velvet was
Amelie.
fun. Yeah, Blue Velvet, Mysterious Skin was a light kind of thing. Pretty easy peasy kind
Yeah,
of
pretty
film.
easy. Just some little. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Boyhood.
Well, oh, stupid ass movie.
Stupid. Anyways, watch
Thanks,
our Boyhood
guys.
episode. That deserves more
Yeah.
watches.
Guys, we're so funny. If you want to watch an episode where Yoav and I just rip a movie to shreds, go watch Boyhood. Go
Yeah,
watch that
yeah,
episode. It's so
we
funny.
ate that up.
We're just making
We
fun
did
of the
eat that
movie
up.
the whole time. We're making fun of that fucking whack ass kid.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Watch Passages and passage yourself
Yes.
into and don't
And
watch it with your mom.
no. And watch the holdovers.
And watch the holdovers and we'll talk about it next week. And if you
Yeah.
don't watch the holdovers, then
Then we'll
then
hold you over.
we're calling Tomas on you.
Oh, and you don't want his wrath, do you?
Absolutely not. Just don't let him in your house because he will destroy your life. He's a
Yeah.
homewrecker.
He will. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a great week, guys.
Yeah. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.